What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Quake 2. Guess what? We are nearing the end of the game. Now we have to go break into the upper levels of the palace fortress type thing and just wipe out everything that's in here because there is a crap ton of stuff in here. And so at this point the game is just going to say screw it and just throw everything it has at us. So in return we need to throw everything we have at it. Fortunately we have a bit more than it has, so we're going to throw things like our nearly 100 railgun rounds at it. I mean, seriously, we have a ridiculous amount of ammo at this point. It's not like, as I've said before, it's not the level of ridiculous amounts of ammo like we could carry in Rage, but it definitely seems disproportionate to the kind of weapon we have. Like, do we seriously need 100 grenades for the grenade launcher, and yet we only have 300 bullets for the chain gun? Doesn't really make much sense. But right over here is one of those trap walls with the lasers that shoot out, and we can just bring up the shield door like that by shooting the panel up there. And we're going to be encountering a lot of these heavy commander tank dudes up here, and because I mean we're pretty much at the end of the game, so the game is gonna the toughest enemy in the game, or the toughest minor enemy in the game health-wise. So it's gonna throw every single one it has at us. But honestly, these encounters could be even denser, but this is like extreme compared to the kind of like end game encounters we get in modern games. You don't get anything like this. This game has just encounters on a whole nother level that modern games are capable of. I mean, if Rage had anything close to a final area like this final area, then maybe the ending wouldn't have been so disappointing if we actually had, you know, some hard enemies to fight for a change. But enough about Rage. This game predates Rage, back at a time when FPS were a bit of a novelty, and all the better for it. And this one, in my opinion, being the most exceptional of all during that time. Of course, until Half-Life came around and used this engine to near perfection. And the game just throws out some those random, helpless, minor, unarmored Strogg, just to remind us of how easy the game was back at the beginning. Some Iron Maidens in here. I definitely want to take this slow because they can kill you in these close quarters with their splash damage from their rockets, which honestly they probably would have been a good enemy to include more of, to be honest. Like, they could potentially be really challenging in large numbers. It's just the game only gives us 2 or 3 at a time. But honestly, I think death is probably more likely in Quake 4 though with these encounters, because it's like, despite the fact that this game has more enemies on screen, it seems like those enemies in Quake 4 can do damage to you a lot faster, just because with the modern version of the engine, their attacks just seem to be more successful. It's not like that tank guy that I just killed, where his attack, he may be really, really tough, and his attacks may do a lot of damage, but he's not very good at actually hitting us. So, yeah. So after I'm done with this LP, I will get around to finally start playing Quake Wars really hardcore, and I will probably record and play Quake Wars. The thing about Quake Wars, though, is it doesn't have, much like Quake Arena, it does not have a linear campaign like this. So we can't really, it's more so just a series of missions that are basically the same thing as a multiplayer match, much like Quake Arena. To where there's a secret room in there, I just want to wait for the thing to go back down again, if it ever will. This is where we need to be to disable the laser majiggy. We need to, I actually did something wrong here. I need to reprogram the data spinner and bring that up here so we can reset this thingamabobber. So I did this completely wrong. I'm going to have to go all the way back down to where we were before. But luckily I can show off some alternate paths because I did this. Otherwise I would have just edited this out, that I messed up like that. But like I said, since we have since there's multiple paths to this upper section of the palace, I can show you guys all the alternate paths. But like I said, Quake Wars is really fun so far. But like I said, basically all the campaign is, it's very much like Star Wars Battlefront in the sense that it's basically just a series of missions played out in order. But I still think it's worthy of an LP if I were to, you know, play it enough and get good enough at it. So the game hasn't been that challenging against the AI yet, but it has been a lot of fun. Because as much as I like this kind of Quake formula, even for the multiplayer, especially for the multiplayer, I still like that style that Quake Wars has of tactical, not really tactical, but you know, the big overarching large-scale vehicle-based war kind of. I really don't know what the, I suppose Battlefield style would be the best way to put it. But I also like that style, as well as this style, so. It's still Quake in the core essence of it, so. Great, another one of these guys. And the game is far from done with giving us these guys. But the railgun is far from done with giving them some genuine punishment. Having a few last bits of fun with the Hyper Blaster before I save my cells for the BFG to use against the final boss. But yeah, I'm also going to be recording a little bit of Quake 3. Now, I might be alternating back and forth between the two different versions of it that I have, which is Quake 3 Revolution, the PS2 version, and Quake Arena Arcade, the 360 version, because they are in essence the same game, but there are differences to them. So probably the first video I'll make is just a version comparison video again, like I did with this game. But to do an actual LP of either of those is not that great of an idea, because again, it's basically just multiplayer matches against bots. So I think Revolution would honestly be the better of the two, but I actually haven't played Revolution as much as I have Arcade. So we'll see about that. But sorry to disappoint you guys, there will be no way in hell I'll be able to record the Dreamcast version of Quake 3 Arena, because I've never owned a Dreamcast and probably never will at this rate, so unless I become a really hardcore collector and I have money to just piss away to get a Dreamcast purely for the sake of getting games like Quake Arena, then sure, but you know, I can't imagine I'm actually quite curious of how the Dreamcast version of Quake Arena varies from the PC version and the remade versions on the PS2 and 360. And of course Quake Live as well, but we won't count that. I'm just going to say screw it in this room. This is where we need to take the data spinner, by the way, because there's a crap ton of enemies in here and I really don't care to use the BFG, but I might save what's left of it and use the other weapons real quick. One last swan song for the grenade launcher. And it did a good job. So we inserted the data spinner, which, like I said, the data spinner that we found back at the other place is very important, because if you came here and you didn't have it, you would have to backtrack all the way to that place and go get it. So now that we have it reprogrammed, we can reacquire it and take it back up to where I was before. So yeah, this part can be excruciatingly confusing if you didn't know to get the data spinner and you don't know where to find it. It's just like, find that crap. And then you can't find that crap, it's like, well, keep looking. It's around here somewhere. This level's freaking huge, but it's there. And while I'm down here, I want to show off another alternate path of how to get back up to where we were before, so we can actually insert this thing into the thingamajig upstairs and get to work on finally assassinating the makron. So I like this level. It's pretty open-ended, though, to be honest.